Hey guys, this is Anthony DiMaio. I'm a full-time airline pilot, part-time corporate jet pilot, and my career started here at Chester County Aviation back in 1996. I was 13 years old. November 9th, 1996, took my first flight lesson here at Chester County Aviation, and I did all my flight training here all the way through: private instrument, commercial, multi-engine, CFI, CFII, all the way through here from CCA. I was a flight instructor here for 5 years before I got hired to fly the Learjet back in 2005 here at Chester County Aviation. I flew corporate jets for about 13 years before getting hired by a major U.S. airline 8 years ago. And I've been doing that since then. And about 2 years ago, I got back into flying private jets again. So now I do both. And now that I've done both, and coming from the airlines, I can really see why the airlines are so much safer. And in fact, you are actually 10 times more likely to get in an accident in a general aviation airplane as compared to an airliner. And I think I see why that's the case. And a lot of it has to do with the way we operate at the airlines. We operate as professionals. And so I think we should operate as professionals no matter what our experience level is, whether we have 1 hour, 1,000 hours, and 10,000 hours. It just doesn't matter. And being a professional doesn't have anything to do with whether we're getting paid to fly. Being a professional has to do with a mindset. Being a professional has to do with a discipline about you, how you operate your airplane, how you fly your flights. They should be operating the same way, in the same manner, in a disciplined, professional manner, no matter what the circumstances, no matter what the weather, no matter where we're going, no matter the airport. It just doesn't matter. That means you run the checklist the right way at the right time. You run your performance data the right way at the right time, every single flight, every single takeoff, every single landing, no matter what. These are kind of the things that make a professional pilot, not necessarily getting paid to fly. So what I'm doing is I'm offering a 1-day professional pilot development course. This is going to be an in-person seminar, an in-person class right here at CCA. Dates and times will be to follow, but it's going to happen soon. And I think you're really going to get a lot of benefit out of this. And we're going to spend the day, we're going to go over a number of things. We're going to go over probably a couple of accidents that are really going to hit us hard and really show why we need to operate as a professional, and how these accidents probably could have been prevented had they operated as a professional pilot. We're also going to go over some flight planning issues. And I think a lot of our issues we have in general aviation have to do with improper or insufficient planning, and mostly having to do with performance. Takeoff and landing performance is a big deal. Most of our accidents happen in the takeoff and landing regime. So we're going to go over takeoff and landing performance issues. We're going to plan some flights. We're going to plan some difficult flights. Think about planning a flight from, say, Jackson Hole, Wyoming to Sun Valley, Idaho. Right? We got problems on both ends. Right? We've got terrain on the takeoff end, on the departure end, on the arrival end as well. We might have some weather to deal with. We're going to go over all these kinds of things as a class. I'm going to go over how to plan flights properly as a professional. We're going to go over the takeoff performance in detail, landing performance in detail. We're going to go over how to do briefings properly, how to do checklists properly, when to do a checklist, when to do a briefing. All these things that make you an actual professional pilot. This is what's really going to help. Then we're going to do some critiques. You've seen some aviation content creators that put out a lot of videos on Instagram and YouTube. We're going to watch a couple as a class, and we're going to critique them, for better or for worse, for good or bad, from the vantage point of being a professional pilot. And this is really going to help us learn with in-cockpit footage of how people are operating as compared to how a true professional would operate. So I think this is going to be really valuable to anyone, regardless of your experience level. We should operate as a professional no matter what our experience, no matter what airplane we're flying, no matter where we're going, what airports we're flying to, it doesn't matter. So whether you have 1 hour or 100 hours or 1,000 or 10,000 hours, this class is going to be very valuable for you. We need to operate as professionals. We need to train as professionals. This class is going to help. So dates and times to follow. I'll see you there.